Why ain't Cynthia's number up? Right? Good question. Well, like I said, she's my favorite person at the deli, and that's for good goddamn reason. As much as she wanted to talk about beating the holy hell out of Andrew Wonez, or having others beat the holy hell out of him to get him to stop. When I asked her not to do that, she followed my words. She also threw it in my face more than once that if we just took care of it the way she wanted to, it'd be over with already. God bless America and all that. So let's talk about Mr. Scott for a second. A man came and took me around to some of the services today. We were supposed to go to church this morning, but life was busy happening, as you saw. And I don't mean in a good way. So that gentleman actually took me out for a real expensive meal. Took me out to a couple of the services that I've been needing to go to, but no transportation and no recommendation. We're working on it though. Anyway, he wanted me to go stay at the warming center tonight. I went to where it's supposed to be. I didn't see anyone there yet. Anyway, right after we got done eating, he dropped me off at my vehicle. He'd noticed the busted shit at my vehicle when he went by this morning, even more so than before. He's not the only one that noticed it. The lady who we went and spoke with, she's aware of my situation, at least in part. She's aware of the vehicle. She knows which one. She's also aware of safety situations with several others, and she knows them. She's also aware of my YouTube channel and what it is that I do. God, my nose is all sniffly. All in all, it wasn't a bad meeting. We were given more numbers, as tends to be the case. Andreas types up, man. Alright, so I get dropped off at my car, and two of the youngins that have been kind of a pain were literally in a vehicle right behind us. And then the guy who was at the house, he came out, said he wanted to talk to me, that he'd heard some rumors. He wanted to know if I was a pedophile. I told him, of course, I ain't. Told him I'd show him my evidence. He said, well, I don't need to do that, it's just your word versus theirs. And I said, again, I'll show you the evidence. I have the evidence. I have a whole car full of evidence that shows I'm telling the truth. I will show anybody willing to look at it. Anyone. But you got to work with me in my abilities. If you want to sit with me and take a look at the evidence, I'm totally down with that. If you're going to make me jump through 4,000 hoops that I have to run around in emergency status, try to find resources so that I can send a bunch of stuff to you that you're not going to do anything with because you're just fucking curious, it's fucked up. So this guy heard some rumors, and he wanted to tell me, well, you understand, kids and all that. I'm like, yeah, I do understand. I take this everywhere I go. I said, that ain't my jacket. Anyway, Anyway, he didn't want to look at evidence. Nobody ever does. But the guy wasn't violent. He started off a little on the intimidating mark, but be. I mean, seriously. You hear rumors like that, you want to check them out, don't you? But the real question is, do you know? Would you rather just believe somebody? Or would you rather know for certain, especially where your children are involved? Any decent parent asking a question like that would want to take a look. But any decent parent who did take a look, especially in this town, would be out for blood. And I'm not talking about mine. I'm talking about the police. I'm talking about the corruption yet again. I don't want anybody beaten. I don't want anybody killed. I don't want anybody hurt. But you get to see that nobody cares if I'm hurt. Now let's state the obvious. There's a bunch of rocks in my vehicle and a bunch of broken glass. I was out there at the butt crack or what the fuck ever, cleaning it up. It wasn't a butt crack or whatever. It was pretty late in the day. And another gentleman was cleaning it up as well. That's the reality of my situation. You harm me, I pay the price. You bully me, I pay the price. You tell me what to do and I follow instructions, I pay the price. You tell me what to do and I don't follow instructions, I pay the price. Anyway, if you look at the video just before this one, you'll get to see some of the damage I've had to deal with. Now the thing is, you don't just go running around pretending like people are pedophiles. It's fucked up. Pretending that somebody stalked you because you were embarrassed is a pretty fucked up thing to do. But you know what? Just because something fucked up like that doesn't mean you can't come forward and fucking speak up when somebody's being accused of shit they didn't do. Just because you're angry with them doesn't mean you can't speak up. I've been from one end of this country to the other being abused over the situation with Natalie Bollinger. Meanwhile, my side's not heard by anybody. Nobody actually listens. Once in a while, these people will pull out one little part or piece. Could you imagine if somebody did a story just on the abuse that I've endured one end of the country to the other? Imagine if they ignored all of the physical assaults and they just looked at the bullshit with the police. Imagine if they ignored the stuff with the police and just focused on the bullshit with people harming me in real life. Imagine if they ignored people harming me in real life and just focused on the internet harassment, the Facebook harassment. Imagine. Imagine if instead of treating me like I'm a crazy nut job, they actually document the fact that I'm going through this abuse. Instead of having an easy fix that I don't have access to and then pretending I must have access to it. No, I don't. Do any of you try to come and ask me why one-on-one? No. I'm in Tillamookkk, Oregon, and I'm standing up to the police, I'm standing up to the judges, and I'm doing it on YouTube because it's the only place that I'm allowed. But you also get to see that after years of abuse, I'm not doing too well. I'm overwhelmed with people asking literally the same questions over and over again. When I'm assaulted, people don't care. That man got to see the rocks in my window, the broken glass, got to see me cleaning it up. That wasn't his concern. Nope, he was concerned about the rumors he heard. Well, you know what? People will literally kill somebody over those rumors, which is why I speak out. There's also the fact that if you're going to go accusing somebody of shit like that, keep in mind, they can call you names back. And how many people on here want to call names, right? Mentally ill is an insult. It is always 100% an insult. But it is because it is either meant to either A, make excuses for a predator, Or B, excuse the predator's behavior because the victim is mentally ill. It's magically okay because they're mentally ill. I know a lot of people who have well, not a lot of people who have Down syndrome anymore. I know a few people with Down syndrome. They're not treated very well. They don't have much respect from the community. They're basically treated like they need to be hand walked everywhere and have their butts wiped. When they want something, they're allowed to have wants. No, they're not. The majority of them aren't allowed to have wants. They're allowed to want something if you give it to them. And a lot of parents of children with Down syndrome, they don't want to hear their children's voices. It's annoying to them. Can you imagine that? Having to be quiet because your parents don't want to hear the sound of your voice? It's rude, isn't it? Having a parent like that, that's a very rude parent. That's a very mean parent. Now let's get back to Cynthia's number. When people come and approach me and talk to me, I do speak up about it. I make sure I speak up about everything to the best of my ability. And the more important it is, the more likely that I will speak up. What I'm doing right now, of course, going back to my vehicle, make sure everything's all right. Making sure I grab some of the stuff out of it. I told the gentleman that drove me around earlier that I would go to where the Warman Center is and at least say hello and see the inside of the building, I guess. Well, I didn't tell him that I would, but he was pretty insistent, wanted me to promise. I didn't promise. We can see some of the glass here. I'll turn it around. Here's some of the glass right there. Here's, of course, the busted out window. One of the rocks is right there. Obviously, the back window here is gone. We did get it cleaned up, as you can see. Pretty well, anyway. Hello, everybody. That's the reality of my situation. This is the reality of what I live through because entertainment channels want to be entertained, right? And you guys, you want to be entertained. And you don't care if what they're saying about me and Natalie Bollinger is true. What you care about is having somebody who's interactive. I don't have a actual friend or family member to do the things that we need a friend or family member to do when we're disabled. I have to hope that there's some decency in the community, and there's some, but for the most part, it's complacency. This gentleman who took me around earlier, he was trying to make some calls to try to get me into some sort of emergency something, which I've needed since the very beginning. I'm so overwhelmed with this shit. See, all these racist assholes had to do was leave me the hell alone. That's not difficult. It's not difficult to keep your nasty cock beaters off of another human being. But none of y'all get that. Now, as often as I'm assaulted over crimes I didn't commit, you'd think that somebody would step in and actually intervene instead of people promising to and never coming through. You know, this crap that I'm going through right now, This is the same crap that got Natalie Bollinger killed. Complacency. Not from me, but from the people that I needed to go to, that I was told to go to, that I was supposed to go to, and that I did go to for help. Natalie went to her peoples for help too. You get to hear Cynthia and the things that she wanted to do. That's the same thing Natalie's friends wanted to do to me. And that's the same thing that when I was trying to tell my friends what was going on, that's the same thing that they wanted to do to those others. And through all of it, I've said, hey, don't. Help me turn it in instead, okay? Instead of getting violent, help me to turn it in. Help to get those guys off the streets. Let me tell you what a badass Cynthia is. She went and abducted her daughter from a foster home. Yeah! Hell yeah. Her daughter's an adult now, which is a very good thing. Hell yes. Now, with a lot of these other people that have screwed up major and ended up with their phone numbers on the internet, there's a reason why with every one of them. Why isn't Cynthia's number up with the rest of them? I have her number. So why isn't it up with the rest of them? Because so far as I know, she ain't stabbed me in the back. See, she was absolutely right about the stuff that needed to be done. I'm not talking about the violent stuff. I'm talking about, well, we only had a couple of minutes while she was on her break to talk. The things that she was suggesting are the right things to do. When she was finally trying to suggest something other than violence. Does it need to be written down? Yes, ma'am. Andrew Wolnez had sent a few texts to, who was it? Cynthia's husband, John. Saying he was going to kill me. Well, Cynthia was going to get those to me, and she hasn't managed. But there's multiple witnesses to the situations and to the attempts that people made to get a stop put to it. The police did nothing but make things impossible. I'm trying to find my lighter. I'm going to walk over to where the Warman Center is. I don't plan on staying there. Just keep my word, you know. Cynthia's number ain't out there because Cynthia, as much as she's made some mistakes, she's pretty badass. Someone calling himself Jeremy Bunston typed, I can post your number. Yeah, I know you can. My number's already all over the internet. What's your point? I'm used to it. I've been dealing with it for, well, a lot of years. Actually, I need to go the other way. Go show that one. Oh, come on, you can do it. It says another moderator just handled it. Well, I'll take a screenshot of it just to show that it's there. People think they can abuse me into shutting up. It's never worked. Never worked. Now let's talk about the Boulder Police Department trying to frame me as a crazy person who's violent. I was assaulted by Officer Waylon Lolatai. Yep. Too bad I couldn't get the body cameras on those. It shows all I was trying to do is the right thing. To make the police reports that I needed to make. And to get the information to the officers in Natalie's case that they were asking for. Tough breaks, right? The whole side of my vehicle is caved in. Very specifically from Andrew Wolnez, and that recording is on YouTube. The majority of my recordings are not on YouTube. The majority of my recordings have private information in them. The majority of my screenshots, private information to some degree. I have to edit out somebody's phone number in order to post it up without pissing somebody off. Well, I don't care who's pissed off. There are things that are okay and things that are not okay. A lot of these folks who were witnesses had plenty of excuses why they couldn't come forward. But you know what? My predators will make shit up to come forward about. You know? So far as I'm aware, Cynthia's not making up jack shit. I also haven't talked to her in a few because she's usually over by everybody else in the deli. I know that her daughter treats me like a human being with dignity and respect, and I do like that. She's also one of the people that wrote something down. Cynthia, she asked if I needed people to write it all down, and I said yes, but I also need someone to go in with me. Just writing it down is not good enough. Because if you write it down and I go in with it by myself, they say, oh, well, how do we know you didn't write it? Well, there's phone numbers you can call. Why isn't her daughter's phone number up? The same thing, she didn't do nothing wrong. Not to me anyway. But you also notice that if I say those things, I will be arrested. I'll be treated as I'm actually threatening somebody's life, actually out to hurt somebody. Police here for certainly don't like me. And for good reason, they're corrupt. Look up Tillamookkk Tillamookkk Police Chief Ray Rau, R-A-Y-R-A-U. Tillamookkk, T-I-L-L-A-M-O-O-K. Like the cheese. This is where that cheese is made. It's also a racist little KKK town, which ain't exactly fun, hence the N-word being screamed at me. They figure somebody who looks Jewish is close enough. Mostly the youth here in Tillamookkk. And Chris Stafford, who's apparently trying to lose all rights to see his children for a while by trying to get his own ass sent into prison. There's the three youngins in the green Ford Ranger that were throwing things at my vehicle. Screaming the N-word over and over. This is where we get back to Mr. Scott. He was asking about all the screaming. Some of the screaming can be attributed to me. But the majority, well, the majority of it is me rocking back in the vehicle going, or me being pissed off about people putting rocks through my goddamn window. Or, of course, there's a whole bunch of people that feel very liberal about screaming shit at the top of their lungs as they drive by and throw shit. You're damn right I speak out. Somebody has to. Well, you gonna speak up for me? Didn't think so. There's a gentleman that's gonna try to help me to make a bank account tomorrow. Something that I have sorely needed since after Natalie was killed, because you can't do any of that GoFundMe stuff or any of the rest of it without that bank account, without that routing number. Is this where the Warming Center is supposed to be? Is this where the Warming Center is supposed to be? Oh, you good? Is this where the Warming Center is supposed to be?
Hey,
Is this where the Warming Center is supposed to be?
woman.
For warming up for homeless people?
Down.
Yep.
No, creo que no more.
No more?
No, maybe es como 10 days, that is no más, no open,
All right.
no more. Or maybe the car, derecho, maybe son oficinas, office, eso maybe puede ser de okay. I don't know.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Bro, maybe hubo problem with the people, entonces por eso no more open.
Anyway, the gentleman that wanted me to message him, or the gentleman that wanted me to, I guess I can message him and let him know they're not doing it anymore. Do what?
Your car?
They busted some windows out of it. It's parked over there.
Oh, okay. Why reason? They put rock, no?
Yep.
No?
Yep, it's rocks. They want to pretend I did things that I didn't because they like hurting people that can't defend themselves.
¿Quién? Nick? Okay. I don't know.
You too. Anyway, I gotta worry about the local cops. They're bullies. Pretty bad, actually. Compared to a lot of other places, they're actually not too bad. I mean, it could be worse. It could be Wyoming or Arizona. I gotta try to work together with a bunch of homeless people. Many of them have drug addictions. They may have the right intentions, but their addictions get in the way. There's a lot of parents with the right idea, but family life gets in the way. You know how it is. The problem lies in the fact that when these people have these problems that prevent them from coming forward, keeping their word, when they have those problems, that's that green truck, motherfuckers. Sorry, I got distracted. People pretend like I make this stuff up, like it's a delusion, and it's not. Now I'm told to go to people when I'm assaulted I'm supposed to go to these people and tell them, right? And how do I get treated? Do I get treated like a person? No, I get treated like I'm a drug addict by the police, and of course by hospitals. And then there's people that throw rocks through my windows and say and do all sorts of hateful shit. You know, I'm gonna get myself something. While I'm here, I do have a couple bucks for food stamps that I can spend on something. Yes, ma'am. You what?
What are you doing?
I was trying to get some help. People have been busting out my windows and spreading that
Somebody
same
busted their
standard.
windows?
Yep, threw some rocks through it. Chris Stafford's been listening with me, and Andrew Wilnes. It's no fun.
Have you seen my friend Kim?
I saw her yesterday morning, I think.
Okay. Okay, Sean, see you later.
Just have to say this, Dora. No. Yeah. I can serve what few pennies I got, I guess. It's only on a food stamp. Should get a hold of that feller. Know that there is no woman's center. And, I don't know what to do after that. Sit in my car and await more abuse, I guess. More threats, more harassment. Cynthia, she's got at least some understanding of how the mentally ill tag works and about how when you're being abused, they just want to ask you if you want to hurt yourself or others. And they just keep on power pounding that question. They'll ask you 5 or 6 different ways. Like, can we skip past the bullshit and focus on what I'm here for? Abuse and injuries over abuse. Cynthia was along the right lines with everything that she was saying, other than the violent stuff. Now Miranda, her, same thing, violence. Same thing with, well, everybody can tell you actually. All of their suggestions were violent. I was able to get them to look at enough to understand that violence isn't going to fix it. A lot of these folks wanted to focus just on Wilnes. Well, if we try doing that and we ignore the abuse by the police, we're setting ourselves up for more abuse by the police, which is exactly what we got October again. Disrespected. That's not a very dignified thing to do, is it? It's not my fault that people chose to do wrong things. It is my choice to speak up. It is my choice to do the right thing. It is my choice. That part, at least, is my choice. When people are threatening my friends and family, I take that very seriously. And really everybody who says they're going to help me tells me that they're having their lives threatened, where people are threatened to harm their families. How am I supposed to feel? Am I supposed to be happy about that and smiling, make merry? Am I supposed to say thank you? That all just sounds crazy to me. And the fact that all of these folks at the deli, or nearly all of them, are recorded making violent suggestions. We get to see a lot of other people out here with their violent suggestions. It's a very violent place. Violent-minded people. That's why it's important to tell the truth. Alicia Bollinger didn't want to do that because she felt embarrassed. Natalie Bollinger didn't want to do that because she felt embarrassed. Maddie Boa, she was just being an asshole. Anyway, folks got all these nice ideas about how it is. And they got all these wonderful ideas about housing. Reality is, here we are. Here's the housing. We didn't focus on the abuse today at all, as per usual. Food was important, yes. Not as important as becoming familiar with the situation. It's not just this town that's full of predators. The whole country's full of them. There are predators all over the world. And not all of them are sexual predators. Andrew Wolnez chose to be predatory towards me. Just like the youth down at Tillamookkk Sporting Goods. Chose. That's the keyword right there. Chose. It was a decision they made to harm me, just as it was a decision for me to speak up. If you don't speak up, nothing happens. I believe that if Cynthia had been there, things would have gone way different. Whether people are mad at me or not, the right thing to do is still the right thing to do. I have to stay recording because I never know when people are going to harm me. I do know that if I turn off the recording, there's an increased chance of me being harmed. I know that with the abuses by Chris Stafford and his friends, Andrew Wolnez, the people he's been able to enlist, and what do they use for this? A bunch of goddamn slander. Not only that, it's slander that I've got evidence that shows that it is fucking slander. But who cares? Right? You just pretend because I have a dick and because I'm broke, it's okay to treat me this way. And it's fucking not. And then you get pissed off at me for saying that it's not. And then you pretend I'm an evil person because I curse. Well, excuse me, says I, but look what I'm fucking cursing about. Goddamn right. Well, there's a lot of folks at the Safeway who are witnesses to this shit. Cynthia's daughter is one of them. Paul is one of them. Christine is one of them. So there's a bunch of witnesses. There's also a lot of witnesses that have left because it's taken so long. See, I needed somebody to go in with me so that my words weren't blown off, so that I wouldn't be disrespected, dismissed, treated like I must have made it up. And yeah, my predators want you to believe that. Of course they do. Well, they're trying to encourage you not to listen to my words. I'm encouraging you to listen to both. Because here's what happens if you look at both. You get the full story. Goddamn right I get angry. Because of physical abuse, psychological abuse, and it's long term. Beautiful. One moment. Sorry, one moment. Yeah, go ahead. I was just making a video about the situation here and the lack of a warming center. A warming center, yeah, it's closed. Yeah, they're going to be closed tomorrow. Sorry, go ahead. Yes, sir. All right. So I was instructed to walk over to a feller's place he's the one that helped me clean it up this morning. So I'm gonna go grab some important paperwork and walk it over there like I do. Life is good, right? No, it's not. Now we got a lot of people that don't know when to leave well enough alone. Like the other night, there's this newbie here. He was working with Paul, and he wanted to get an attitude with me. I wouldn't get an attitude with him. I was trying to ignore him. He just went off for probably about a full minute. And I was like, dude, you need to just knock it off. I'm not doing anything to you. You better not be bringing that in, motherfucker. I wanted to call him a motherfucker, for goddamn sure. I didn't, though. I was civil. I'll save my anger for the internet. Silver Chevy Cavalier. Huh. Looks like one of the vehicles that throws rocks at me, except it doesn't have a big dent in the side of it. I did get some recordings today, of course. The lady that we talked to at the place for the homeless, her being aware of my situation to some degree is a big help. With that lady from the hospital who came to see me in the library, you guys probably ain't seen that recording. That was just a few days ago. This is exhausting. Problem is, we don't have any autism advocacy here. We don't have any homeless advocacy here. What we have is a bunch of idiots throwing a bunch of money down the drains like a bunch of idiots. And they want to reserve that stuff for the people who are drug addicts. I'm not saying drug addicts aren't people, but I am saying that there's a lot of us who are out here because we were victimized by drug addicts over and over again out here on the streets. How about helping us get up and out? How about pretending we're humans too? Sorry about the connection issue there for a second. I'm gonna go over to a feller's house and warm up for a little bit. But like I said, I want to have a cigarette first. Obviously, I got a lot of anxiety with people throwing rocks through my windows and stuff. There it is. Now I'm mad at Cynthia's response time. I'm mad at a lot of people's response time because they don't take it as an emergency. And when they hyper-focus on just one part or just one person, missing the fact that it's not just one person. I get that people don't like that I speak up, but they shouldn't have victimized me to begin with. I get that people don't like being recorded, but they shouldn't have been doing something that needed recorded for our safety. The amount of stuff that the lady out there knew is the reason that I'm being so terribly ambiguous with that information, because everybody knows this place is corrupt. My last video had over 1,000 views during the video. That's primarily because even though Natalie Bollinger was killed in 2017, they still keep making Facebook stuff about her to this day. And of course, they all want to talk about the crazy Sean, right? Really? When you abuse somebody and then call them crazy as an excuse for your abuse, you're doing some pretty fucked up shit. You are literally doing what that guy in the Jamie Again video did. It's your victim's fault that you assaulted her for being crazy, apparently. If you've watched that video, you know that not only did he pursue her and sock her in the back of the head, then claim somehow it's okay because they're family. Well, not really. Is it okay for your family to sock you in the back of the head when you're trying to get away from them? Just asking. In that very same video, the man admits to a murder. Lovely. Meanwhile, we get to see the effects, the psychological effects, me having panic attack after panic attack. People pretending that because I'm overwhelmed with this quantity of abuse. Most of these people that talk about being abused, they get abused once and they fucking flip their shit for the rest of their lives. I take this shit daily and I'm still here. I'm not dead. I am still breathing. I am still a human being. You get to see how hard the courts are trying to keep me tied up so that I can't turn in those officers. You also see that there's a public defender shortage here in Oregon, and that they're literally letting felons free. That's right. Child molesters, rapists, even some murderers, because they've held them longer than they're allowed to. Why are they wasting this shit on me? Why are they pushing so hard to deny any and all evidence of abuse against me? Why are they trying so hard to keep that out of court? And why are they trying to keep me hemmed up? Why are they trying to keep all of my money tied up? That's exactly what they're doing here. They're destroying my ability to leave and then demanding that I leave. That's not working. Meanwhile, what are the police going to do? Make any excuse that they can not to look. Not to try to work with my disabilities. Just to send me around in circles. Tell me that it's my fault that they did what they did. God bless America, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to say? God bless America. That fixes everything. Take a picture here. I had to block restricted numbers. The cops and all these different services keep wanting to call me from restricted numbers. Well, I can't tell you from anybody else when you call from a restricted number. There are people here who have earned my disrespect. There's people all over who have earned my disrespect. And the easiest way to earn my disrespect is to decide and pass judgment without looking at both sides. While my predators try to convince you not to look at any evidence, and they do their damnedest to try to destroy all the evidence. Listen to them for a reason, because there's another side, and it shows actual evidence, shows these people lie out their asses at you, and you come and break my windows for it. You come and assault me for it. You come scream at me in the Safeway and out in the parking lot. Multiple parking lots. Look at the bullshit with Chris Stafford. And him fucking around with Amanda's mom's gun. Running around spreading rumors about her. Yeah, he wanted a girl who's already got a boyfriend, and then he wanted to try to break him up and get with her. And he's actually recorded on my channel doing that shit. Chris Stafford's kid's mom has a protection order against him because he is a violent felon. A violent felon. I want you to get that through your head. He is a violent felon. Now let's take a look at Andrew Wolnez. Just another predator on the block. He's violated the protection order multiple times since being verified that he was handed the paperwork. He don't care. Like he keeps saying, it's just a piece of paper. Now, when people threaten to post up my number, shit, son, story of my life, son. Story of my life. Maybe instead of telling me just to change my number, well, I have to repeatedly change my number. Maybe you have to change your number for once. Maybe. All right, I think I got everything. Anyway, Ted Bollinger will never rape Natalie Bollinger again. Tim Beeson will never rape Natalie Bollinger again. Troy Bollinger will never rape Natalie Bollinger again. Natalie's not here to be raped. She's not here to be beaten on. She's not here to give drugs and take advantage of. Which means that her predators have to find somebody else to do this shit to. And who predators go out and find? Who do they seek? Those that it's easiest to get away with taking advantage of. Those who are alone, those who are disabled, those who are elderly, those who are children. My reality is this. There's one person I know fighting for our rights, and that's me, and that's it. While you're all still fighting for special rights, I live the reality of the fact that those special rights don't work. There will always be some loophole or some excuse why what they're doing is okay. Reminds me of Emperor Palpatine and the Star Wars movies. Then I will make it illegal. Let's talk about Cynthia's number for a minute. She's not trying to harm me. She's not making any efforts to harm me. Miranda, again, not making any efforts to harm me. Let's take a look at Paul. That's a different story altogether. I know all of these people's excuses for not coming forward. I also know the reality of the situations with many of them. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. I got a bunch of videos to try to post in the links if I can get some time to do it. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Dark death typed, bro, just lie and say you're an illegal so you can get some actual assistance. I understand the sentiments. Anyway, good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's keeper too, and no victim left behind. Oh, come on.